What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Mark. If you are rocking with this content, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But today, I'm going to hit y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Backwoodz and Segal entitled Maps. So Backwoodz is this ultra prolific and enigmatic MC who is one of the most revered voices in underground abstract hip-hop. Now, last year, I had admitted that Aesop was my first full and real thorough listen to a Backwoodz album. I also ended up hearing Church shortly after it dropped, but I never got a chance to do a review. And I gotta keep it a buck, I have found it challenging to decipher a lot of Billy's bars on the first couple of listens. You know, sometimes his lines just go over my head, no cap. But this new project, Maps with Segal, is Billy's 11th studio album and his second release with Segal. The two first collaborated back in 2019 for their critically acclaimed Hiding Places, a project that I've yet to hear. I know, don't kill me. So Maps is this conceptual project about tour life. It is Billy sharing his journey and experiences on the road as a rapper. It contains 17 songs lasting approximately 44 minutes. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, Kenwood Speakers, has this glitchy bass heavy instrumental. It's easily one of the rawest beats on the project. Billy talks about traveling through Brooklyn with the speakers blasting in this beat up Saturn. He's calling out the white gentrifiers who live in Brooklyn, but also dining with a couple of them, strangely enough, before his tour. And there is this kind of dark, twisted, comedic element at the end. But as a whole, it's a fun and punchy opener to set this off. Track 2, Soft Landing, has much more of a tranquil instrumental. We're getting this glistening guitar riff and even some harmonizing from Billy, who interpolates a Nina Simone melody. Billy has a clever shout out to both Prodigy of Mobb Deep and Biggie. For Biggie, it's maybe suicidal thoughts was the everyday struggle. He even name drops the female MC Nonchalant and her classic single 5 o'clock in the morning, if y'all are old enough to remember that one. And I found this to be super random and dope as hell. Track 3, Soundcheck, returns to more of the rugged, jazzy boom bap aesthetic, and this features a dope verse from Quelle Chris. The two talk about not showing up for their sound check like AI, not doing practice, as they are confident enough in their own skill set to kill it, except when they might forget some lyrics. As a whole, it was one of the standouts that feels like a throwback to that late 90s raucous era. Track 4, Rapper Weed, mellows things out once more. I like the prominent keys and laid back jazzy production. And on this one, Billy discusses his experiences with Rapper Weed. As a rapper on tour, he states the strange name was just a string of numbers, blockchain. But it seems like he's disappointed in the quality of it, despite the high price and colorful packaging. Following this is Blue Smoke. It's one of the shorter tracks with a breezy live jazz band feel. It's got this brisk, quirky production. We have one verse from Billy who's speaking on artists signing record contracts with shady exec. It is a brief track, but keeps the pace going, keeps things interesting. After this is Bad Dreams or Only Dreams. The title likely is inspired by one of the skits on GZA's Liquid Swords. I could be wrong, but this has a dusty, blunted sax sample and another brief verse from Billy, who talks about a jet lag and more experiences from the tour, and here his delivery almost borders on spoken word. Track 7 is Babylon by Bus featuring Shrapnel and Curly Castro. There are some beat shifts here, my favorite being the string sections on the back end, but altogether it's a head nodding posse cut. Billy has this cold-blooded line: people don't want the truth, they want me to tell them grandma went to heaven. Damn, Billy, you ain't have to do him like that. Immediately after is Year Zero, which has the darkest and most intense instrumental by far. This also features a feverish verse from Danny Brown, who most certainly goes off. Now, I can't say that I listen to Danny Brown regularly, but he stole the show here with his fiery energy. Track 9, Hangman, it slows the tempo down with its misty, cloudy production. There was some bass here too, which made it a low-key banger. Billy was taking shots at whack rappers throughout, but I really dug the following bars. I don't sleep, I hover outside myself, watching my body survive. Now that's deep. Track 10 is Baby Steps with Elucid and Benjamin Booker. I like the icy, ethereal production and the soft crooning from Benjamin Booker. And Billy talks about having to take a $300 Uber ride just to get to the show, but he ended up falling asleep in the back like Future, so it might as well have been a Maybach. He also has this clever line about checking in, rappers feeling pressured to check in when they're out of town. He states, I don't check in, but if you feel a disturbance in the force, you already know. So I wonder how Jay Prince feels about this, Billy. There's also a solid verse from Elucid, whose vocals sometimes really remind me of one of the Cellar Dwellers. It was either The Phantasm or UG. My memory escapes me. Track 11, The Layover, has these elegant twinkling pianos, and Billy spits some poetic bars, and he even does some social commentary. Track 12, FaceTime, is also one of the standouts and one of the smoothest Billy with songs I've ever heard. We get this lush, sparkling, majestic backdrop and this soothing, gorgeous hook from Samuel T. Harry. Here, Billy talks about trying to live in the moment and even declines some FaceTimes, but somehow later at night, in a crowded after party, he's really wanting for that phone to ring. So even in a crowded after party packed in like Parliament, Billy manages to feel lost and alone. Track 13, Agriculture, has a multi-layered instrumental, but what stood out most was the mesmerizing keys. One verse from Billy, who offers some thought-provoking imagery. I couldn't necessarily decode it, but it sounded great. The following, Houdini, is a syrupy guitar ballad, making it one of the most chill records. Bars like the following come across as really random, but I love his attention to detail. I'm at Costco in the Midwest with a pocket full of small bills. I also liked his mentioning of the late Pittsburgh rapper Jimmy Wapo, another reference that was super unexpected but refreshing. Track 15, Waiting Around, features the underground vet Aesop Rock, who delivers one of the strongest guest feature verses. I also like the raw sample-based production, the Bahamadia and Method Man vocal scratches, and this one was also given that late 90s underground hip-hop feel. The second to last song is NYC Tap Water. It's a deep record where Billy returns to the NYC streets after the tour, only to find out that he still feels lost and alone, despite being back home. He's also annoyed at the new buildings, i.e. gentrification, and he's reminiscent on all the good weed spots that are no longer there. I also really liked how on his opening verse, he has an interpolation of OC's classic Time's Up with, you lack the minerals and vitamins. One sip of New York City tap water, I'm back, dialed in. Then the project wraps up with As the Crow Flies featuring Elucid, and this contains more of a synth-heavy, dreamy soundscape. I like Elucid's Gangstar reference, the rep grows bigger. He had a dope verse altogether. Billy closed out the track with a short verse about his son, I believe, or perhaps it's about himself, but either way, Billy does have some anxiety about how much time he has left. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of a strong 4 mics. Even though I enjoyed Ethiopia's quite a bit, I feel Kenny Segal's production made for a smoother listening experience in the car for me, which will likely translate into it having much higher replay value. I did enjoy the jazzy undertones throughout the project, and the drum presence really kept me engaged. The bulk of these tracks did have hard-hitting drums. It was laid back, but nothing sleepy. As for Billy Woods' performance, he continues to dazzle with his unique pen game and creative imagery. I dug his sharp references and vignettes on the tour life, and I could also appreciate his honesty about feeling lost and alone. Another thing that I could really appreciate about this release were all of the obscure hip-hop references that Billy and his guests provided, there were ones that I really didn't expect. You know, of course, there was an obvious nod to like Future and Biggie, but how often is Jimmy Wapo and Nonchalant mentioned, you know, in a 40-minute time span? Let me know in the comment section if you feel this was a worthy follow-up to their 2019 release. My favorite tracks include Soundcheck, Rapper Weed, Year Zero, Baby Steps, FaceTime, Houdini, Waiting Around, and NYC Tap Water. Let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, it's peace and blessings. Billy Woods, Kenny Segal, Maps 1.